Are you stuck in a cycle of struggle, feeling like massive change is the only way out? What if I told you it's not? You don't need to move mountains. You just need to take one small step. And in this video, I want to show you how to turn your struggles into strength, starting right where you are. How do we do that? I know that for me, there was a time in my life in 2018 that, man, I hit the wall. It was horrible. I absolutely just hit this wall. What happens sometimes is we just stop. We just stop at the wall. And then when we're stopping at the wall, we decide, what are we going to do? And a lot of times, the reason we feel stuck still in the place that you're at is because you haven't taken that next step forward. What is the next step forward? Because if we want to heal, if we want to be stronger, if we want to grow, we've got to move. And the enemy, check this out, the enemy wants us to stay still. The enemy wants you to stay just hitting that wall, just to stay right there where you are, just to stay in a place that keeps you ruminating, that keeps you thinking you're a failure, that keeps you looking back at all the shame, that keeps you in this gross place. And so today, how do we go from struggle to strength? Very easy. You can tune out now. You can get off right now. Is you've got to take a step forward. You've got to move. And sometimes you've got to move into a really hard space and a really hard thing for you to be able to take that step forward. Because when we do hard things, it changes our life. So here's for me what that looked like in my story. And you can go back and look at a YouTube video about more details into my story. But man, in 2018, I had all of my past trauma that I had stuffed down for a very long time. My body stuffed it down. Past trauma of S abuse and P abuse and complex PTSD, all these things that I had stuffed down causing this complex PTSD. And it all just came up. It all just came up. And what came up was triggers and panic attacks, anxiety attacks, suicidal ideation, all these different things that were coming up. And I didn't know what to do. I was a pastor at a church. I was leading a large ministry. Things were happening. They were good things happening. And I hit this wall, right? I hit this, I just, bam. And I didn't know what to do. I didn't know what to do because even as a pastor, as somebody who was supposed to have it all together, so I thought, which is not true, I was like, I don't know what I'm going to do. I've hit this wall. And then people started trying to help me and they were praying for me and it just got worse and it was just spiraling. And I mean, all I wanted to do was not be on this planet anymore. That's all I wanted to do. I had 3 kids, married to an incredible wife, Erica, and it was horrible. My past was coming up. I was being triggered. All these things, my stuff that I had not remembered was just coming at me harder and harder. And one thing led to another. And I was encouraged to do something really hard. And that really hard step was I needed to go get help immediately. People are like, Michael, you've got to go get help. And I'm like, no, I can't. I can't do that. I got to have it together. I am Michael Head. I'm preaching to all these people. I'm leading this thing. If I go get help, then people are going to know that I don't have it all together. And then my life is over. That literally is what I thought, and that's what I was living like. And so my only choice was to end it. That was in my mind, that was my only choice. But you know what? I didn't, praise the Lord. I ended up taking that hard step for me, going from struggle to strength. How do we go from struggle to strength? And that even is in so many ways of our life, going from struggle to strength is we've got to do something so hard. For me, it was taking a step and walking in the doors of this amazing inpatient trauma center called Onsite. I took the step to do it and praise the Lord that the church helped pay for that. That was such a blessing to me. So I took the step of walking into these doors. I had to get on an airplane and all of the triggers, and I had to fly to Tennessee. I was living in Houston, Texas, had to fly to Tennessee, and I had to put myself behind so that I could heal. And the crazy thing was I walked in there and I was wanting to heal for everybody else around me. But what changed is whenever I started to heal, because I needed to heal. I needed to heal. And that's a difference. Sometimes we try to do stuff for everybody else, but really we need to start doing stuff for ourselves, because when we do it for ourselves, it changes everybody around us. And so how do we move from struggle to strength? Is we've got to take steps that might be really hard. And for me, it was taking that step of faith and I had walked away from the Lord. I had walked away from the Lord in this moment. And I stepped into this inpatient trauma center that truly saved my life. That was a big step. And so praise the Lord, I went through it. It was amazing. I was able to heal. Sometimes you've got to be the one, because I had people in my life saying, Michael, you have to do this. You need to go get help. It is important. And maybe for you, you have someone in your life that is struggling and you need to encourage them to go get help. You need to encourage them to take that step that is hard. And sometimes going to therapy and getting a coach and doing those things is really hard for people in their mind. But once they start doing it and they understand the healing process that takes place, it's a game changer. I meet with clients all the time, and that is their story. They didn't want to meet with me. They felt embarrassed. They didn't know what it was like. They didn't want to unveil the things in their hearts and their things, but now they're walking in freedom, as the hoodie says, free people. And it is powerful how God is using them. And that could be your story. You feel like, man, this just sucks. Like life is horrible. Things are not good. I don't know what to do. I don't know who I am. And that was me. I didn't know who I was. If I didn't have it all together and I wasn't preaching and I was this mental health person, then who am I? And God said, it doesn't matter who you think you are. Let me tell you who I think you are. And you are loved and you are known. And I love you. And that's what I want you to hear today. You are loved. You are known, and he loves you. So how do we go from struggle to strength? Is we've got to start doing some really hard things. Another massive struggle to strength for me was my transition from being a pastor for the last 22 years into being a coach, into being a biblical Christian therapist. That's been a massive shift for me. For 22 years, that's all I knew. And I just felt this in me like, man, something has to change. Like I felt this drive inside of me of this is not where God is wanting me to be. And I started getting cranky. I started getting like stagnant in my job in the ministry. I started just going through the motions where, yes, it was fun and it was good, but it wasn't what I was supposed to be doing. I just knew it and I felt it. And there was just some things going on. And God, I need you to step out of the church and stop being and to get uncomfortable for a season. And I'm like, bro, you better ask somebody else. Again, identity. My identity was I am this pastor. I had launched an online campus. I had done all these things. And so that was my identity, was like, this is who I am. I don't know what it looks like not to be known as. I didn't know what it looks like. And I was in this struggle. And God said, I need you to step out. And also I was encouraged by my wife. So I had, again, somebody encouraging me, somebody there with me, somebody saying, man, we got this. You can do this. And maybe for you, maybe you're not the one in the struggle, but maybe for you, you're the one helping somebody go from struggle to strength. And you're the one encouraging them. Hey, man, go get some help. Hey, I want to introduce you to, hey, I think that you need to make this big move in your life. Because here's the thing for me. You never want to look back and say, what if? You never want to look back and say, what if? Because most of the time when we look back and we're saying, what if, we're staying in that place because we're comfortable. But God has so much for us when we step out. And I'm not saying you need to quit your job. Please don't go turn your resignation and you're done today. I don't know what it is for you, but you know what it is. You know that one thing that you know that you need to do. Maybe it is going to counseling. Maybe it is reaching out and going to get somebody that you need to talk to. Maybe it's doing that really hard thing that you need to do that you keep putting off, but you need to do it. Maybe it's having that hard conversation. So here's what you need to understand. Going from struggle to strength. How do we get to the strength? Is we've got to move. You've got to do something. You can't just stay there. Because what you're going to do is you're going to continue to say, man, I just wish man, why am I? And you're just, and here, if you meet with me, here's what I'm going to tell you to do. Just take a step forward. Just take a step forward. That's all. Take a step forward. What is that step forward for you? I don't know what it is. I don't know what it is. For me, it was taking that step to go to onsite, changed my life. For me, it was taking that step out of the walls of the church to start my own business, which is doing amazing, where I meet with clients every single day and I see breakthrough in their life, where I'm now coaching pastors, where I'm now doing hospitality checks at businesses and churches and going in and helping them to be able to see the people that God sends them versus looking past them. And if I didn't step out, yes, God would still be God and do the things, but man, these people are being set free. Maybe it's that sin that you keep just going back to and back to. So how do you stop doing that? How do you get out of that? Number one, you give it to the Lord and you move. Literally, I had a client the other day and they were in the middle of a panic attack. And here's what I told them to do. I need you to stand up and I need you to move positions. Stand up and move positions. That is a game changer when you start having an anxiety or panic. Like literally, you're moving your body. You're moving your body. You're going from struggle to strength. That strength is moving your body. So how do you go from struggle to strength? What about you? What is a way that you have gone from struggle to strength? Man, put that in the comments. I would love to hear your part of how you have gone from struggle to strength. And here's the thought. I want you to think about this. Your struggles don't define you, but how you choose to respond to them does. Ooh, what am I saying again? I'm gonna say it again. Your struggles don't define you. It's how you choose to respond to them that does. How are you responding to the struggles today? Put in the chat. How are you responding to the struggles today? I'm telling you how to go from struggle to strength. I'm going to give you 3 more tips right here. 3 more tips to how to go from struggle to strength. The first one is to acknowledge the struggle. Do you know that you're struggling? Most of the time we do. Because if we're going to avoid the struggle and we're just going to keep avoiding it, we're pushing it off, or we're going to act like we don't need anything and all the things, man, we're never going to be strong. We're never going to grow. We're never going to change. We're never going to heal if we don't acknowledge and we stop avoiding that we actually don't have it together. Because you don't have it together. That's why Jesus came. If you had it together, we don't need Jesus. We need Jesus. You don't have it together. And for me, again, I had to acknowledge I didn't have it all together. But I had to acknowledge the struggle, that I had a past that was dark and had a past that was not my fault. I had SA and physical happening to me. And I had to realize I didn't have it all together. And it was a game changer. So we acknowledge the struggle. It's for me, when I took those steps into on-site, man, it was crazy because I realized I'm not the only one struggling with past pain. There's other people here and they're like raising their hand, right? They're saying like, yeah, I have that too. And I was like, what? Like you're really sad inside? Like you're really angry inside? You had people hurt you in your past? That was for me. I was like, what is happening? And it was so powerful for me. But we all at the same time, we acknowledged that that we needed help. We acknowledged versus avoiding it. And here's the thing, the people close to you, they see it. They know it. And so acknowledge it. And then the second thing is this. Or the second thing is this. How do we go from struggle to strength? The first thing is we acknowledge the struggle. We know it, we believe it, and maybe we say it out loud. We say, man, I'm struggling with blank. I'm really hurting here. This person did this to me. I did this here. I am and we're acknowledging these things. We're saying these things. It's a freedom for you. Man, I have some clients that they have told me things. They'll say things like, I've never told anybody else this. I've never shared this before. And I'm like, let's go. Let's dig this out. And they can come to a safe place. I meet with pastors. I've got 4 pastors that I'm meeting with one-on-one on Zoom calls. And it's so powerful to see them on the other side of the screen have breakthrough because for the first time in their life, they shared something that they could never share with anybody else. And they're sharing it with somebody that's safe. I'm not in their denomination. I'm not in their city. And they can come to me and they share it and they unveil this thing that has all these roots and they pull it out. And you see them going from struggle to strength in just that moment. And I always end my sessions and I say, so what's the biggest thing that stood out to you today? And they'll say things like that. I've got clients that are just being set free because they're pulling out the roots of the things that they have been watering, the things that they have been just putting other soil on, and it's been growing for so long. But when they pull out those roots, man, it is beautiful to watch them be set free. And that can be your story too. Again, we're going from struggle to strength. The first thing, acknowledge the struggle. The second thing is seek support and tools. Seek support and tools. And one of the tools that I have just recently launched, I want to share with all of you, is my new course. It is, man, so many people have already taken this course. And I know I've got people on here that have taken the course, Denise. But I want to encourage you, if you haven't gotten this course, you can go into the description, you can go into the chat and get this course. It's called Crushing Limiting Beliefs. This is a tool that you can use that is going to crush your limiting beliefs. It will crush the beliefs that you've put around you, that you've raised up, that are limiting you from walking free. That's a tool that I have made. I worked really hard on. It's me teaching on video, 14 different modules of limiting beliefs that we've put in front of ourselves. One of the beliefs is, I don't deserve to grow. Man, that's such a limiting belief. You do deserve it. You do deserve it. Seek support and tools is number 2. And here's what you got to understand is that when other people were telling me that they were struggling was so massive. When other people were saying, yeah, I'm dealing with this, it was huge. And so what you need to understand is that you are not alone. So when you seek support, when you go out and do it, if it's therapy, if it's coaching, if it's a community, whatever that is, man, you've got to understand that is a game changer for you. That is a game changer for you. You have got to get some support and tools. Don't do it alone, because the first thing, again, when you acknowledge the struggle, you can acknowledge it, but what's the next step for you? The next step for you to go from struggle to strength is not to keep hitting that wall, but it's actually to go say, oh, I gotta get some help. I need to go to coffee with somebody. I need to get into a community. And I've also got a community. I've got a free community that I have. It's you can get the link for that in the description. It's people who have taken a big step in their life and they're walking it out and we're growing together. The last thing for going from struggle to strength is take the next brave step. What is that next brave step for you? So today, what is one step that you can take today? I want you to either write it down. I want you to put it in the chat. I want you to think about it. What is the one brave step that you can take today? The one brave step, not the massive thing that you need to do. Maybe for you, it's just making a phone call. Maybe for you, it's sending a text. Maybe for you, it's journaling. Maybe for you, it's going outside and going on a walk. Maybe for you, I'm not sure what it is, but what is that small step for you? You know, for me, these small steps for me going from my struggle to my strength was actually, for me, was getting on the phone with Onsite and saying, hey, I need help. For me, was going and talking to the Pastor Jordan when I was going to resign from the church that I was at, is going and having a conversation like, man, I'm just feeling this call to do this. And I went and I had the conversation. And those were hard things in my mind to do, but I ended up doing it. I went from struggle to strength. And I'm so glad that I did it. And so many people that I meet with, they've just gotten unstuck. And how do they do it? They made one small little pivot, one small little move. Transformation, remember this. Transformation happens one step at a time. And the strength that you want is on the other side of that first step. It is. Maybe for you today, that small step is just opening the word. Maybe for you, that small step is just getting in the word and hearing from the Lord. Acts 2:28. You have made known to me the paths of life. You will fill me with the joy in your presence. Hello. Because when we're taking that step toward him, he is what fills us. And then we'll end with this, where we started talking about when we can focus on all the worldly things, the evil, we can focus on all the terrible things. But if we could change our focus, if we go from struggle to strength, we change our focus to focus on the things that are excellent and praiseworthy. Check this out. Philippians 4:8. Love this. Says this, finally, brothers, whatever is true, whatever is noble, whatever is right, whatever is pure, whatever is lovely, whatever is admirable, if anything is excellent or praiseworthy, think about these things. Today, what are you going to do? What is that step? Thank you so much for watching today. This has been a powerful video of going from struggle to strength. And I just want to encourage you, take that step. What is that step for you? And maybe it's reaching out. I would love to help you take that next step. So go to the description, find a time on my calendar that we can meet and help you go from struggle to strength. And I want you to check out this video right here.